next speech on the topic of religious freedom in America by Amjad Mahmood Khan Sahib.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Amma ba'du, fa'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. La ikraha fid din. قد تبين الرشد من الغي. There should be no compulsion in religion. Surely the right way has become distinct from error. The Holy Quran, chapter 2, verse 257. Respected chairman and honored guests of the Jalsa Salana, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. A few weeks ago, America celebrated its 234th year as a nation. As members of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, we proudly joined in this celebration. For some Americans, a showing of loyalty by American Muslims might come as a bit of a surprise. With America engaged in 2 wars with Muslim majority nations, Iraq and Afghanistan, and recent Gallup polls showing an unprecedented level of discrimination against American Muslims, it would appear difficult for American Muslims to take pride in the country they live in. Yet despite all of the polls and the negative media attention paid to Islam in America, there probably isn't a better time in our history to be proud to be an American Muslim. This might sound like a tall claim, but perhaps some international perspective might help. Consider for a moment the state of religious freedom for Muslims in Europe over the past few months. Last November, 57.5% of all voters in Switzerland supported a constitutional amendment banning the construction of new minarets, an Islamic symbol found in mosques. Last month in the Netherlands, the anti-Islam Freedom Party of Geert Wilders won 23 seats in parliament. Wilders has publicly demanded that the Quran be outlawed and that Muslim women who wear the headscarf be taxed. Last week, the French Parliament approved a ban of the burqa, or the full Islamic veil, by a vote of 336 to 1. And support for a ban on the burqa is now widespread across Europe, with majority votes in Spain, Britain, and Germany. Now, for American Muslims, these European headlines come as a bit of a shock. Compared to European Muslims, American Muslims appear to be progressing much better. And our President Barack Obama recognized this very fact in his speech last year to the Muslim world in Cairo. He said, and I quote, "Freedom in America is indivisible from the freedom to practice one's religion. That is why there is a mosque in every state of our union, and over 1,200 mosques within our borders. That is why the US government has gone to court to protect the right of women and girls to wear hijab and to punish those who would deny it." End quote. No state in America, no state, has laws that ban minarets, headscarves, or any other kind of Islamic custom or practice of the kind France, Switzerland, and other European nations seek to implement. In the middle of this country, Oklahoma, in 2004, a law was passed to ban the wearing of the headscarf in public schools, but the federal court quickly struck down the law as unconstitutional. And this past April, Oregon ended an 87-year-old ban on teachers wearing headscarves in public schools. What is it about America that enables American Muslims to exercise their faith more freely than anywhere else in the world? Well, my speech this morning tackles that very important question in 4 parts. First, I'll discuss the concept of religious freedom in America. Second, I'll discuss the concept of religious freedom in Islam, and in so doing, I'll underscore the striking similarities between the two concepts. Third, I'll discuss how the modern Muslim world has deviated from the true Islamic concept of religious freedom in profound and even tragic ways. And finally, I'll discuss some of our responsibilities as American Muslims to champion the cause of religious freedom in America. So let me begin by discussing the origins of religious freedom here in America. America's early founding reflects a deep commitment to religious freedom. Most of the European settlers who came to North America in the 17th century, they fled Europe to seek religious freedom. The early immigrants to America, the Puritans, sought desperately to practice their own brand of Christianity, and they founded Massachusetts, what they called the New Israel, a new commonwealth based on a covenant between God and his people. But the puritanical vision of a holy society was quickly met with resistance, and the first and most famous dissenter, Roger Williams, himself a Puritan minister, disagreed with the state's interfering with religion, and he put forth the first American case for freedom of conscience for all people. He was banished from Massachusetts, but he founded Rhode Island, the first American colony to grant freedom of conscience to people of all faiths. And the Rhode Island experiment quickly drew traction and momentum in the rest of early America. For example, William Penn, a Quaker, famously founded the colony of Pennsylvania, which he described as a holy experiment to preserve religious liberty for all people. In 1776, the Declaration of Independence established America as a nation and declared emphatically the principle of equality for all people. But even the Declaration of Independence does not explicitly refer to religious liberty. It took 11 years after that, when the founding fathers of this country wrestled with this idea of religious freedom, to be included in the U.S. Constitution. And the father of our Constitution, the architect of that document, James Madison, set forth a powerful defense of religious freedom as an inalienable right, and his ideas formed the basis for the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which was ratified in 1791. Now, it's rather fitting to be speaking about religious freedom here in Virginia. If you drive south about 2 hours from here, you will hit Chesterfield County, home to 318,000 people. 225 years ago, the citizens of Chesterfield County did something remarkable. On November 14, 1785, they signed an unprecedented petition for religious freedom, which they submitted to the Virginia State Assembly. The Library of Congress has preserved that petition, and it reads, and I quote a portion of it, "Let Jews, Muslims, and Christians of every denomination enjoy religious liberty. Let them find their advantage in living under your laws." End quote. These sentiments 225 years ago ultimately found their way into the Bill of Rights a few years later. And the first words of the Bill of Rights consist of the religion clauses of the First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. Now, taken together, these two religion clauses safeguard religious liberty by protecting religious beliefs from government interference. And now, almost 225 years later, the religion clauses of the First Amendment remain intact and continue to